Good evening, District 40 Toastmasters, members and friends. Welcome to our August District 40 podcast episode. My name is Althea Latang, and with me this evening, we have our fellow co-hosts. We have Angela, Derek, and Johnny, and we make up your District 40 podcast team. As we do with every episode, I'd like to share with you our podcast mission. And our mission is to educate and to entertain our listeners and viewers by providing a positive and supportive experience to help our listeners and viewers develop stronger communication and leadership skills. Also, as customary with Toastmasters meetings, we like to introduce the word of the day. Our word of today is trepidation. And the definition of that word is a nervous or fearful feeling of uncertain agitation. And an example of the word of the day in a sentence is, despite her trepidation, she delivered her first Toastmasters speech with surprising confidence. Anyone taking the speaking platform this evening is encouraged to utilize the word of the day. Podcast co-host, how are you all doing this evening?
Good. How about you, Althea?
I am great. I'm actually out of town right now for a conference, but I'm really happy I'm here with you guys this evening. Hope all is well with you all.
All is well with me. You see, I'm at my lake house right now. I'm enjoying time away. It's a beautiful location. I'm just having a ball.
I love it with the baby grand piano in the background.
Yeah, I'll be playing a little bit later.
How are things with you, Angela?
My dogs are going through some trepidation right now, but they're gonna deal with it. But
are they hungry?
No, they're just starved for attention. You know how to do. But
oh goodness,
enjoying this great weather.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
It's so nice outside.
It really
Perfect time.
It was a little chilly this morning, but it was nice.
Would you say this morning was a little cold?
A little bit chilly. I think it was like 51.
Ooh, okay.
That's what I heard back in Columbus at the lake house. You know, it's
beautiful. Johnny, how are things with you, my friend?
Everything is absolutely great. I'm living a dream.
I love that. So we have a great episode planned for District 40 this evening. So to kick things off with our interview segment, I'm going to turn things over to Johnny Randolph.
Okay. Well, District 40 and fellow Toastmasters. Today, we have a special guest, Renee Mitchell. Renee is a dynamic leader and the current program quality director for District 40. Since joining Toastmasters in June of 2018, Renee has built a reputation for inspiration, excellence, and fostering a growth mindset. Renee is currently a member of Speech Weavers Toastmasters. She joined that when she moved here in Columbus, Ohio, and also she helped create Sin Toastmasters 2.0, where she is a proud charter member. Renee's dedication and passion for personal growth and professional development culminated in 2025 when she earned her first DTM. Congratulations. Along the way, Renee has worn many leadership hats, including club president, the vice president of membership, vice president of public relations. Today, as our program quality director, Renee continues to champion learning opportunities and empowering members across District 40. So, District 40 and fellow Toastmasters, please, let's give it up for our program quality director, Miss Renee Mitchell, DTM.
Oh, I love the applause.
How you doing, Renee?
I'm doing fabulous. How about yourself, Johnny?
I'm doing great. Renee, if you are don't know is probably running on fumes because she spent the latter part of last week at the Toastmasters International Convention. She got back, then she had a TLI last night, and now she's right here with us. So after this, I hope you can get some rest, Renee.
Same. I hope so too.
Awesome. Okay. Now, Renee, as
Yes.
I mentioned in your introduction, you are the program quality director.
Yes.
Let's say that a person is new to Toastmasters. They've only been in for a month and they're not really familiar with what this program quality director term is. How would you explain what your role is and what you do?
That is a great question. Thanks for that. I would tell them that the program quality director leads a team that is responsible for a lot of the major events that we host throughout the Toastmaster year. As you mentioned, club officer training, we do 2 cycles of that every year. So the program quality director is responsible for making sure that that happens. We are also responsible for the annual conference. This year is going to be at the Cherry Valley Hotel in Newport, Ohio, which is just east of Columbus, the first weekend in May. Our theme this year is the evolution of leadership. So we are hoping to see brand new faces in leadership positions across the district as we continue to grow and get better and better at leadership. And then the other thing that we are also responsible for in program quality, in addition to just making sure that clubs have the quality out there, is the annual contest. So we have a contest chair who just happens to be my husband this year. We're super excited about the contest this year. We have the International Speech Contest and the Humor Speech Contest this year. So I know that was probably a lot, but that is what program quality is involved in. Kind of a little bit of everything, but it goes all throughout the year. And at the end of the year, we hope to see some amazing, distinguished clubs out there.
Okay. Well, you just mentioned several tasks or responsibilities under your jurisdictions. What is the biggest event that you are looking forward to as the program quality director?
I would have to say it's our conference this year, and we're actually calling it a retreat. So usually by May, people are worn out. They have been doing Toastmasters, doing a lot of work to get their clubs going. And by May, I feel like people need that little bit of a recharge, a little bit of a kind of a mindset, a relaxation. So that is why we are having it at a place that when you see it, it is so serene. But at the same time, we're going to make sure we have quality education sessions. We have the contest that will be held at that time, but that is the event I'm looking forward to the most. And probably most importantly, it will be the last District 40 event that we hold, because I think all of you got the word that we will be a brand new district starting in 2026.
Wow.
We will be District
215, right?
15. Yeah.
215. Absolutely. That is going to be interesting. But I mean, with Toastmasters, we are an organization about growth and development. So we'll just grow and look forward to surmounting whatever challenges that should come our way. Now, Renee, the last question that I'll have for you is, what does success look like for you during your term as program quality director?
Honestly, we have some goals. So we are trying to improve a little bit in every area. We wanted to see a 10% growth in the number of people that attended club officer training this year, a 10% growth in the number of clubs that are distinguished this year, and an increase in the number of people that attend the conference. But honestly, I would love to lose no clubs this year. When I was club growth director, unfortunately, right towards the end of the year, there were a bunch of clubs that basically decided they had it. Not that they were fed up with Toastmasters, but it's a lot of work to keep a club growing. And when you don't have a lot of members that are committed to that, it just wears people down. So I think we had some clubs that you only had a few people left. They were worn out and they just kind of decided, okay, we're done. But I want to see if our quality chair, who is Dr. Shirley Stallworth, DTM, can help these clubs that are maybe hovering at the barely healthy level, can improve their quality, grow, and then be able to sustain into the next year. So my envision of success in addition to just improving a little bit in all those areas, but is to lose no clubs this year.
Okay. Well, I'll turn it over to my co-host, Angela.
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, Renee. It's good to see you again.
Same.
And I was reading your bio and something caught my eye. I wanted to ask you about, as people that listening to the podcast are probably leaders trying to help other people become leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you said you were passionate about was helping people step boldly into leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering, what does that look like for you? How do you go about doing that, and what do you think helps?
I like showing people that they're actually capable more than what they think they are. I think some people put artificial limitations on themselves thinking, I can't do that. I can't do that. I remember when I first joined Toastmasters, I had no idea that there was a hierarchy. We just had our little club through S&P Global where I work. I didn't know there was a such thing as an area, a division, a district. We never saw our leaders, so you just assumed we're kind of on an island. And then as you move into a club where you get exposure to all those different levels, you see that there are actually a lot of leadership opportunities available in the district, even just being a club officer, but also like area director, division director. So I love seeing people take on those challenges. I talked to my husband about being an area director. He's like, I don't think I could do that. I'm like, I know you can. I know you can. And he's doing great. Now, he did the same as I did. The first year, you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, and you struggle. But then you go into your second year and you're like, okay, I've got this. Like, you've got that, enthusiasm and that confidence, and you go in and you do amazing. And it's always fun for me to watch people go from that, I can't do that, to, oh, yes, I can, and I can kill it too.
Yeah, I feel that. I got that mama bear thing. I get so proud when I see somebody do their icebreakers or whatever, just take on a new role. That's so exciting.
Yes.
It's just like this proud moment. Also, I noticed that was in there was helping people find their voice.
Hey, John, you're being photobombed. I love it. I love it.
Well, I've been trying for 10 minutes to join your meeting. We have something going on with our home network that you can't get to free toast host. And we can't, and usually you can get there via hotspot. I only tried my phone and 3 computers, and none of them worked. And I finally decided I would just come in here and photobomb.
We're on social media. So you go to Facebook or YouTube?
Yeah,
that's 15 minutes ago.
Huh?
You're Facebook famous now.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So if you want to go there, you can find us there as well.
Well, maybe next time.
All right.
That's awesome. Helping people find their voice as well was something that I noticed that you mentioned. So how do you feel about that? How do you go about that?
I mean, I like people to realize that what they have to say matters, and I like to give them that platform to do it. I mean, you talked about getting excited when people give their icebreaker. We have people in our club where it's taken them a long time to get to that point where they're ready to do it. And I feel like once they do that, they think, okay, this isn't as scary as I thought it was. And then they realize people really do care what they have to say. And the great thing about an icebreaker is you get to know more about people in a way that also fulfills a project with Toastmasters, if that makes sense. So I just love people realizing that we do care what you have to say, and what you have to say is important.
Yeah, we've been doing this thing called like an icebreaker day where if we have a lot of new people, we have like 4 different icebreakers the same day. And I just feel like everybody's on board and going through the same thing at the same time. But then you also get to know like 4 new people in your club, like more intimately. It's really cool.
Yep, agree.
But congratulations.
Thank you.
Pass it on over. And John, congratulations on you're going to do awesome on the contest chair thing, right?
Yeah.
We got you. Althea. Some questions for this lovely couple.
Yes, I do. John, pleasure to see you this evening, sir. Renee, you and I have worked together previously when I served as division director for Division H. Yes. And hearing you talk about individuals who step into roles that didn't really feel that they could do it I was an example of that during my tenure as Division H director here in Columbus. So I'm so happy to see where you've grown to, Renee, because I saw that potential in you from day one.
Aw, thank you.
I'm not surprised to see where you are today. I'm just looking forward to your continued growth. But I'm curious to hear from you. What is your overall vision for strengthening membership education and training, since with PQD, that's a primary role that you're serving for this program year? And how do you plan to address any trepidations that clubs may be experiencing as a result of new approaches that may ensue because of what you're putting forward?
So one of the things, and I don't know if this will answer your question, but one of the things I've been thinking about since coming back from the conference is that we have clubs that they would say that they're a Toastmaster club, but then you go and you visit and you realize that they really don't represent the brand very well. And I like to think about it as, if I had a Nike tennis shoe, everybody would recognize that because of the swoosh on there.
Right.
But me putting that swoosh on another shoe doesn't make it a Nike tennis shoe. And I want not in a mean way, but in a constructive way, that just because you have a Toastmasters banner, if you're not treating your club like a real Toastmasters club and honoring the brand of Toastmasters, it's really not a Toastmasters club, if I want to put it that way. So then it goes back to quality. So that's what I would like us to really start focusing more on, is being true to the Toastmasters brand and making sure that, our meetings have all the 3 components, prepared speeches, evaluations, impromptu speaking, table topics, that sort of thing. And we have some clubs that are doing amazing at it, like clubs that I would sign up today if I was a visitor. And then you have some clubs where you think, I'd have to think about that for a while. But I would love every club, when I walk in or anybody walks in and visits, thinks, yes, this is where I want to be, because if this is how Toastmasters is, this is something I want to be a part of.
That's awesome. I actually have a question for John. So, John, you're the first gentleman, I guess. So how has it been supporting your lovely wife, Renee, in her endeavor to serve in these various leadership roles within District 40?
It's been fine. There's not necessarily any unique challenges that I can think of. What I learned last year when she was the club growth director is it takes a lot of extra time. And I would expect that. And I want her to, she loves Toastmasters. I want her tour, for lack of a better term, to be successful. And if I realize there are going to be some evenings we don't necessarily get as much time together chatting, I'm okay with that. And I've learned over the years, a lot of it's about presence. If she wants to sit in there for an hour and a half and do Toastmaster stuff, well, I can sit in there and do something else. And we're still in the same room. I'll count that as okay. So it hasn't been bad.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure she appreciates the support.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, the closer you get to the trio roles, the more you realize it takes a lot of time and energy to run the district. And I'm not sure everybody has enough appreciation for those 3. The energy and time it takes. It really is almost like a part-time job.
Yeah.
And
it's a full-time job.
Yeah, you get a bird's-eye view to that.
I haven't seen anything in the 15 months that Renee's been in these 2 positions. I haven't seen any blowback from anybody, any scathing emails. So the district's been real good to her for the last year and a half. But that if there was one thing I could get out to the district is have respect for the 3 of them, because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy, and to be as supportive as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Great message. Thank you for that. Well, Renee, I have another question before I turn things over to Derek. So,
okay.
So this is kind of talking about like innovation. So, are there any new initiatives or tools or workshops that the membership can, look forward to that's coming on the horizon that's going to really help to enhance the member experience? And again, ease any trepidations that that's the word of the day, everyone, trepidation. So trepidation that, members may be experiencing, because whenever we think about something new, the unknown is always scary.
Right.
Any new initiatives or tools or workshops that are kind of on the horizon for District 40?
Well, I want to give a shout out to Krista Hullaby. She is our Wednesday webinar gal this year, and she's actually reaching out to a whole bunch of different people to provide all different kinds of Wednesday webinar sessions. So that's something a little bit different. We're recording every session to make it available for everybody. One of the things I really wanted to try, and I didn't get a chance to do it in the fall, but I'm hoping in the next cycle, is to introduce on-demand training, because I hear from all the people all the time, like, I can't make it, or that time doesn't work for me, or whatever. I would love to be able to record our sessions, and then you watch it on demand and get club officer, kind of credit for that. We thought about launching it in the fall, and it like came too fast and furious. I wasn't able to set it up, but it's more about, I would love people to attend training in person or at least virtually online to have that connection with them. But I recognize that there are some people who work a lot of different days of the week and are very busy with their kids or whatever, and they may not have that time. I would love to give them still the opportunity to get that education. And I would love for them to get the education that we have to offer, because I think we have amazing trainers in District 40. I mean, Johnny Randolph came last night and did the president's presentation last night. There's tons of great people, along with him, that can really teach the district a lot about what it means to be a great officer in any role. So that's just something that we're possibly thinking about doing in the spring.
You'll get the cash app. I'll send you the cash app for the compliment.
That was a paid.
That's it. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Yeah, this call is being recorded, sir.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Well, Renee, thank you so much for answering my questions, and I'll go ahead and turn things over to Derek.
Thank you, Althea. Renee, I haven't had the pleasure working with you directly, but I know I've been down to your place, and we've done COTs and TLIs down there. But I have a question, something that you had reference to of John. So many members, especially new club officers, step into new leadership roles with a bit of trepidation. Yes. How do you plan to support those members so they feel empowered rather than overwhelmed? Kind of what you dealt with John.
Mm-hmm. I try to tell them to focus on just 3 important things a month. So I sent a note out last month to the new area directors. I mean, some of them were repeat. And I'm like, you're probably overwhelmed. We gave you training. We gave you all this stuff that you're ultimately responsible for. But in this month, just focus on 3 small things. We told them to introduce themselves to all of their clubs, schedule their club visit, not saying you need to do it in August, but schedule it before the end of the deadline. Put it on your calendar, make it an appointment that you're going to go to, and then start thinking about your success plan. So not finishing necessarily anything, but think about those 3 things and then, kind of lay back. And then next month it's 3 more things. So I think sometimes we get overwhelmed when we think, oh my gosh, there's 100 things I need to do. Right. Well, you don't need to do 100 things right now. Why don't you just focus on 3 things that you can do? And that feeling of accomplishment, I think, is what carries you and helps you feel less trepidatious. I don't know if that's a word or if I just made it up.
I love that. I read once somewhere, I don't know who said it, that if you make your bed up first thing in the morning, you've accomplished one goal. That's right. That helps to start your day. I didn't make my bed today, and I had a horrible day. So I'm like, this must be the start of why I had a horrible day.
You didn't make your bed.
Yeah, exactly. I have another question for you. TLI can be exciting, right? But for first timers, there's often trepidation about what to expect. I know you're working a lot with TLIs and COTs this year. How are you working to make office training more welcoming and inclusive?
More welcoming and inclusive. So we did training a little bit differently this year. And I know, for those of you that have been on the calls, we started out with, I told them that there's a saying that different isn't always better, but better is always different. So I said, we're going to try something different. It may not be better, but I hope it is. But what we try to do is kind of like de-stress it a little bit. So we started with Leadership 101, and it was leadership stuff that you could apply not only to Toastmasters, but real life, and just recognize that there's a lot more to being a leader than just, kind of, I don't want to say bossing people around, but there's a lot more to that. So we started with Leadership 101, just make it, and we actually had people who were not club officers attend the training because they just wanted to hear the presentation. Then we talked about how our club is like a part of a neighborhood. So we called it the District 40 neighborhood, and how we're all here to work together. We are really emphasizing reaching out when you need help. So I tell people not to suffer in silence. Like, if you are stuck, if you need help, you have plenty of people you can reach out to. We talk about, if you're at the club level, reaching out to area directors, division directors, the district, leaders. We've been really trying to enforce that we are here to help. And I try to let people know that I'll answer any question anytime that you have. You're not alone. And I've talked to a few area directors who were feeling very trepidatious and very nervous. I'm like, don't be nervous. You cannot mess this up. I have a gal that I work with that always talks about, look around, Renee, do you see any hospital beds and dying people? And I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, then just relax. You're doing fine. So I think, we welcome everybody. We also let them know that we're here to help, and we try to get them to just kind of relax and take things one day at a time, and just nobody is ever going to be upset if you're doing the best you can. It's when you quit, walk away, neglect without asking for help that I think we lose, that's where you're kind of losing the whole leadership thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Well, thank you.
One final question.
Yes.
I am someone who is an introvert. I say I'm a recovering introvert because I don't want that to be my label. And I'm also shy. But how can clubs create an environment where trepidation turns into transformation, especially for members who are still finding their voices?
That's a good question. I had that, when I was at the conference, there are so many people there. It's like 1,500 people there. And there were times where I would just go to my room like, I need away from all the people, because I guess I'm a recovering introvert too. I like people. I just sometimes don't like people in that quantity kind of thing. So if you have somebody that feels that way, I think, I would recommend to them maybe finding a smaller club that's a little bit more intimate and you don't feel overwhelmed, because I know we have some really large clubs in the district, and you may walk into a room with like 25 people and think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Yeah. But you walk into a room with maybe there's 8 to 10 people and you're thinking, okay, I can handle this. And then you find somebody to sit next to you and just focus on that one person instead of all other, 9 people in the room. But that would be something I would recommend to somebody who is maybe a little bit nervous about being in big, rooms with a lot of people and may feel intimidated. Is to find maybe these smaller clubs where it's a little bit, more of an intimate group that you can then eventually come out of your shell and become more of an extrovert and not so much of an introvert.
There's nothing wrong with being an introvert. We need to stop. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being an introvert at all.
Nothing at all.
Yeah. Not at all.
Let's become a recovering introvert.
You're fine being and I'm not necessarily an introvert, but you're fine. You don't have to improve to be an extrovert. Being an extrovert is not the goal. You're fine just as you are as an introvert.
I don't know if he's complimenting me or not. It's kind of strange. Thank you, Renee, so much.
I was referring to Renee, not necessarily you.
There it goes.
But again, it still stands. There's nothing wrong with being an introvert. And Renee, you talked about when you talked about nothing serious. I think it was Don Schultz, or at least I heard it. It used to be the acronym RIOT. Relax. It's only Toastmasters.
Yes. That's very true.
Indeed.
All right. Well, does anyone else have any additional questions for Renee?
Well, I guess while you have the platform, Renee, any events that are coming up that are PQD related, this is your opportunity to do your plug to the district.
I hear you. So we're ending club officer training at the end of August. So if you are an officer and you are listening to this and you have not taken training and you don't know where to go, please reach out to me. There are plenty of other districts that are having training. It's a very lofty goal, but I wanted every active club to have at least 4 officers trained, and we're really close to that goal. We had over 140 people on the call last night, which is amazing. So if you're listening and you haven't done it, you have until the end of the month to get it done. And then we won't roll into the next cycle until November. But as I mentioned earlier, Wednesday webinar session. So this guy is actually giving a presentation tomorrow night on getting your club ready for a club contest. Our goal, and it may be lofty too, is to have every club have at least one person competing in a contest. I don't care which contest. But we have so many clubs that don't send anybody. And I'm like, why? Like, especially last year, it was table topics. You don't even have to practice.
Just show up. Really, literally, just show up.
Even if you're last place, who cares? At least
and you can literally make up anything.
I know.
All those introverts.
Yeah. So we just want every club to have at least one person that competes. And our club today, when we were talking about it, one of the guys is like, we need a club contest. Like we did one last year for table topics, which was a ton of fun. We had 6 people competing, but this year, you know, people get scared. They're like, humorous speech. I'm like, it's just a speech that's funny. It's not like the international speech contest where it has to be, you know, moving and, you know, inspiring. Just tell something funny. You know what I mean? It's very easy, I think, to do that. So anyway, I know I'm rambling on and on. Wednesday webinars. Krista's doing an amazing job of getting us some amazing speakers. So if you haven't tuned into one, please do so. Like I said, tomorrow we're doing club contests and we have some other ones. How to hold an amazing open house. We did one on Chat GPT. Daniel Schaefer did it. It's been recorded. It's amazing. If you have a chance and you have some free time on Wednesday, please join our Wednesday webinars.
All right. Well, awesome. Let's give it up, District 40, for your program quality director, Renee Mitchell.
Thank you.
And John Mitchell. We're not going to forget about you, John. All right. Feel free to step away. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Good night,
it.
Mitchells.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. All right. That was awesome, guys, wasn't it? There's a lot of good information provided in there.
Fresh off the conference. Hopefully she gets some rest.
I know. She's been super busy.
Yeah.
What stood out in the interview to you guys? I'll answer my own question there. I like the thought of a retreat for the district conference. That I've been to every conference since kind of I started going to them, and that's never been something that I have initially thought about. So as we grow and continue to change, I would like to see what this is going to be. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, I appreciate the approach to there being more flexibility when it comes to officer training. So like Renee mentioned, people have lives and sometimes it can be hard to navigate or to kind of, you know, pull yourself away for a couple of hours to come to a training. So being able to have other options to get the training that's needed. Yes, there's a component of like the interaction that you're missing, but you're still getting the information. You're still able to get the training credit that's going to help benefit your club's DCP goals. So I appreciate the fact that they're looking at other ways to help club officers get the information they need and also get the training credit for their clubs.
I like it.
I agree. I was going to mention that as well because, you know, like being here at the Lake House on Saturdays, I don't necessarily want to come to the TLI. So I can get some on-demand training.
Maybe you should host a TLI at your clubhouse.
Yeah.
Ooh, it looks like it's plenty of room.
No,
Right. Look at all that space back there. Yeah.
We can have a fireside outside under the pergola.
But
let's talk to the facilities chair. We got a great location.
Yes.
It's an undisclosed location.
Oh,
I also appreciated how she
Columbus,
referenced her husband John taking on the role of contest chair and how she encouraged him that even though you don't have the experience, you can do it, you have the support. So that really encourages other leaders to take on, potential leaders to take on more responsibility, know that the support is there, and that, you know, the leaders that are already here are going to help you to succeed and be great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. District 40, you are in for a treat. Our next guest, he is a track star. He's a great father. He's a great husband. He's a 2-time District 40 district champion, and he's fresh off of coming from the Toastmasters International Conference, where he competed in the final round of the International Speech Contest. Now, to put this into perspective, at the start of this contest, over 30,000 people start. This gentleman arrived in one of the top 8 positions. So please, District 40, help me in welcoming your District 40 champion, Mr. Taylor Candella.
Thank you. That's a great intro. I appreciate that, Johnny.
No problem. Sir, I know that you are probably just as tired as Renee, and you took your family out there, you kicked butt in a couple of rounds, and then you headed to the big stage. So we want to say on behalf of the District 40 podcast, we appreciate you for spending some time with us, fresh off your great journey.
Absolutely, yes. Still tired. I got home Sunday night and then woke up at 4:26 in the morning. I teach some running classes at a studio here in Columbus on Monday mornings at 5:15 and 6:15, and I was like, shoot, I should have got a sub for these. So yeah, definitely tired, but looking forward to getting some sleep tonight.
Awesome. Well, Taylor, I'm going to start off with a couple of questions. The first thing I wanted to know was, what got you interested in wanting to compete in speech contest?
It's a great question. So like you said track star. That's past tense now. I did run track at the Ohio State University, and I ran the mile, and I loved competing. I played sports my whole life growing up. And so, from 4 years old to 23 years old, when I graduated college, I was just always competing in something sport related. And then I graduated and got a big boy job in corporate America. And all of a sudden I looked around and there's nothing to compete in. What do I do now? And so when I was introduced to, I'm part of a corporate club, Premier Toastmasters. I work for Cardinal Health, and a coworker at the time said, "Hey, will you come to this thing with me?" And I said yes. Didn't ask any follow-up questions, which that could have backfired. But I went, and it was Toastmasters. They were having a competition at the time to see who could bring the most guests in a month or a given time period. And so he was just trying to bring some guests. And so I went, and so I learned about Toastmasters, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." But then not till 6 months after I joined is when I found out they have an international speech contest once a year. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I've been missing. That competitive desire flared right back up. And I just found this as something I could do to sharpen my tool belt and skill set of public speaking, but also at the same time being able to compete against people all over Columbus, Ohio, the United States, and even the world.
Awesome. You talked about competing. So I want to know, what's your process for creating a speech? I'm very much into habits. Take me from when it becomes a kernel of an idea to the first time you give it in a competition.
Well, it wasn't until speech contests that I learned that writer's block is a real thing. I always heard that, but man, it takes me a while. I wish I had a silver bullet I could give you where it's like, if you just do this, a perfect speech comes your way. But I struggle to get the ball rolling. One example is this contest year. I think the club contest was, mid-January maybe for our club. My speech, Room 5, most of you have heard, was about the birth of my son. Well, he was born December 12th, a month before the contest was supposed to start.
Gotcha.
And so I didn't write that speech until the night before the club contest.
Wow.
Because I was like, I think I got something here, but I'm not really sure if I got something here. Mm-hmm. And so what I do is I just start typing. I type a lot faster than I write, so I just start typing ideas, and some of them don't even make sense, but I just type. I just type and I type. And all of a sudden I got 4 pages of notes, and I'm like, all right, well, this is too much. Now I gotta try to, it's almost like a puzzle. I got to put this, I really like these 2 lines, but where does this fit the best? Or where does it have the most impact? And so maybe at the middle of the speech after these 3 lines, so it's kind of like puzzle piecing lines together that I like, but having a message that I want to give, but it takes some time. And so that night I had to. I procrastinated long enough, and I just had to give a speech. But then after the club contest, I had, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks until the area level. And so that's when I was able to start, all right, let's start fine tuning this. I didn't really like how this part went. Let's cut that out and replace it with something different. And also just with help of mentors and people to kind of give you feedback, that also was really helpful to kind of shave things down. I'm always close to that 7:30 barrier. I don't know what it is, but I'm always close. So I always need to shave some of my speech out. And so having mentors to help you and kind of review your speech, that's always a big plus as well.
Yeah, and Toastmasters is a great community for doing that. If you reach out to people,
Absolutely.
they will provide you with feedback. And I was happy to hear your process because that mirrors mine very closely. The last question that I'm going to ask you, and then I'll turn it over to my distinguished co-host, is what did you enjoy most about this journey you recently took from starting at the beginning of the club and literally going to the last event of the contest season? What did you enjoy the most?
It's hard to pick one.
Or pick a couple. Pick a couple there.
It's such a long season, right? The content, I think of an NFL season, or again, I like sports analogies. So you think of some of these seasons, baseball, they play 162 games. Like, man, that's a long season. This contest was 8 months long. It's a long season. And so to start out at the club level, with not too many, contestants out of the gate, at least at my club, like you said, Erson mentioned earlier, 30,000 around the world, which is just incredible. But then to go and kind of, or like March Madness bracket, right? You just, each level you win, it's one step closer to that championship. And so month after month, continuing to advance, it was a rush. It's such a hard work's paying off. I've put in a lot of time to this. And so when I heard my name called as a winner of the semifinal, man, that I was overwhelmed with joy, with relief. Like, man, I did it. I think this is the 7th year that I've competed. And so each year I've kind of made it maybe a little further or kind of back to the same level, but I'd never made it to the finals. And so it was just like a release of like, man, I did it. I made it to the finals. Like, I put in a lot of work to get to this. I know you had Renee on earlier. There's a video my wife was taking. She was in the back room with our 8-month-old who room 5 is about. And she was taking a video of the announcer. When the announcer said my name, Renee jumps out of her chair. It was so cool. I didn't get a chance to show her yet, but just that moment right there. Yes, I did it. And I pointed to my wife. I pointed to Tracy Baker and Renee and Sue, just people who've been there with me throughout the contest from the early stages. So I think that moment was just really powerful for me.
Okay, I'll turn it over to Miss Althea.
Thank you so much, Taylor. Thank you for being a part of the podcast this evening. Like Johnny mentioned, you just got back from the conference weekend, adrenaline on high, so just kind of coming back down to reality. You mentioned your process in preparing for speaking in a contest, and you mentioned mentors. Do you have any speaking type of inspiration? So some folks like Les Brown, some people like John Maxwell. Are there individuals that are professional speakers that you kind of gain pointers from or inspiration from as you are developing more as a speaker?
That's a great question. Definitely read a lot of John Maxwell books. I wouldn't say there's a speaker who I follow and have really tried to tailor, no pun intended, my
sure style. It is. Go with it.
Tailor my style after. A lot of people think, you gotta pay a lot of money to get mentored and coached, and there's certainly those people are out there, very successful people who do charge a pretty penny, and and their time is worth it. But I actually made a conscious decision, like, I want to see what I can do, how far I can make it without soliciting some of that professional help where they're charging, however much an hour. I want to see what I got. I want to see what I can do. And I had some help along the way from my club, from District 40, people giving me feedback, and that was invaluable as well. But as far as like a professional speaker or a professional coach, I really don't have one that I really cling to or emulate.
Yeah, I see a lot of folks in District 40 will probably have you as someone to emulate. You mentioned that you've been on this journey this is your 7th time competing in speech contests. So I think a lot of people who are trying to leverage that to maybe get into the competitive side of Toastmasters can see your journey and be inspired by that. So thank you for being that example within District 40. There may be people that will come to you directly, Taylor, and say that you're an inspiration. There may be some folks that are silent, but they're watching you. So you're being a great example to them. So I appreciate that.
Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. My next question is, what is next for Taylor? So you got to the big stage, right? And we almost got it. So I feel it's there, but like, what's next for Taylor? Like, what's next on the horizon for you?
It's a great question too. I had people, even though I didn't place in the top 3, I had a line of people after the finals, to talk to me and say, that they really enjoyed my speech, that I encouraged them, that it impacted them, whatever. But some of them were like, "So you coming back next year?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm still, right. The weight of defeat. I'm still dealing with that right now." So it was a little too soon, and still, it's only 48 hours later. But I told my wife, I think on the airplane back, was I don't know what else I got left. Like, I loved those 2 speeches so much. They were so powerful to me in my personal life. I just don't know what else I can talk about, babe. And she goes, "Well, you didn't have the inspiration for room 5 until a month before the contest started. So who knows what could happen between now and then, mid-January or late January, whenever it starts, that could happen in your life that you're like, that's my next talk." So right now, I have no clue. If someone had to say, "What's your next talk going to be?" Honestly, I couldn't tell you. But what my wife said was like, "You know what? Who knows what could happen in these next 5 months where you're inspired by something and you feel like you want to share that with the world." And so I'm open to running it back, going for it again, but I'm not sure. Another answer to that question would be, I aspire to be a keynote speaker. I'm hoping that, some doors open, whether that's in corporate settings, within churches or nonprofit organizations. Also, high schools is an area that I'm also interested in. So, met a lot of people in Philadelphia, and so that is something that also I aspire to do, and hope to make some traction on that goal as well.
Yeah, I see that for you as well. And you have made traction. You have opened doors. So those opportunities will come your way. But I'll go ahead and turn things over to Angela for any questions.
Thanks. You hit so much of what I wanted to ask you, Taylor. Sorry about that. So one thing I want to plug is you mentioned when somebody brought you, they were trying to recruit people to be members, and we are in the Smedley Award season right now. So just let's encourage people, anybody listening, to just, bring your friends, bring people like Taylor.
Yep.
Like, you just came because somebody was trying to get somebody into Toastmasters.
That's all it took.
Like, that's wild. So, okay, so your speech history, you said 7 years, and you mentioned 2 speeches. And is international the only thing you've done as far as speech contests go, or what's your history there?
With speech contests, Toastmasters is the only sort of platform I've competed in from a speech contest.
I mean, the international specifically?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
The international speech contest, like not the other.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I've not done the humorous contest. I haven't done the tabletop. Yeah, you're sorry. Yes, only the international contest is the only one I've given a shot at.
Ooh, would you be open to humorous?
Maybe. I don't think I'm very funny, and neither does my wife. So I don't know. I could give it a shot, but yeah, the comedy is not my forte. But it is something that it's one of the things that I wish I was better at. But being able to use humor. If you guys watched the World Championship,
It was very
Sabi,
humorous.
the gentleman who won, man, was just very
Funny.
he was so good at landing a punchline.
Yeah.
He would build it up and then boom, punchline, and 1,400 people were just hunched over laughing.
Wow.
And that is not a gift that I have, but I'm sure it took a long time for him to get to that point as well. So again, it's another tool in our tool belt that we can grow in and get better at. So that is something that I would like to improve.
Did you give him the side eye, like to the audience, like it wasn't that funny?
I know, dude. So I went first and he went second. So he was sitting right next to me. And when he came back, I was like, I gave him the rock. I gave all the contestants nuts or a handshake after they walked by. But I was like, dang it, I think he got it in the bag. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 went. I was like, Sabi won. It's his. It was his for sure. So I knew he won. I was hopeful that I could squeeze into the top 3, but not my year.
You did
That's
great.
okay.
You did great.
That is so impressive.
Yeah.
I will say, speaking of comedy, I've listened to a lot of comedians say that they journal like every day, and you're talking about like not having something. So if you just journal your day-to-day activity, you might be able to go back and
that's a good point.
Find a gem in there that really inspires somebody. But I'm sure you've been a big inspiration to a lot of people, and I mean that's a win in it of itself. But
Thank you.
I'm in all of you. Awesome job. But Derek, you have any questions for the man here?
I sure do. Thank you, Angela.
Sorry.
I think everyone has said it. You're definitely an inspiration to me. Congratulations going there all the way to the very top.
Thank you.
I definitely appreciate everything you've done representing District 40 now to soon be renamed, but thank you. I have a 2-part question.
Sure.
Like, what is going through your mind in the moment right before you step up there on stage? And do you have any kind of like rituals or things you do before you speak? Like, do you have to have like 1 banana and 3 strawberries? Like,
great question. So the first part of the question, what am I thinking before I go on stage? Similar, I'll relate it to my running days at Ohio State. No matter how good I got at running, I had butterflies before every race. And it wasn't until that starting gun went off and those butterflies just evaporated and you're gone, right? You don't have time to think about anything else. You're just in the moment. But until that moment starts, man, I had just so much butterflies. It's the same with the contest. From the club level all the way to the finals. I am so nervous. I was backstage because I was first. So I'm backstage, mic'd up, and I'm just pacing back and forth behind stage where these, all these workers are, the backstage employees. And I'm just going back and forth, running over people in my path. I'm just so nervous. As soon as my mouth opens and that first word comes out of my mouth, I just get in the zone and the butterflies are gone. I forget about what I was nervous about. And I just am entrenched in my story. And I'm in character. My final speech, I had several characters that I was going through. And so I just got in character and it went away. But beforehand, I'm a nervous wreck. No matter how good I have gotten, I'm nervous. The second part of your question, do I have a ritual? At Ohio State, when I was running, I had to eat like half a bagel with peanut butter and I had to stay something light because I didn't want to, get sick during the race, right?
Right.
And so Saturday finals came, and I'm like, I got these butterflies, and we were right across from Reading Terminal, which is a really popular and I think famous, food market in Philadelphia. And it has so many amazing. My wife and I ate there probably 7 times in 5 days, and tried different things. And she was like, "What do you want for breakfast?" And I was like, I just need a half a bagel with cream cheese, and that's all my stomach can handle right now. So I have to keep it light on contest days, just because the butterflies.
Awesome. I get extremely nervous whenever I have to speak, so I do the box breathing technique. Otherwise, it's like a complete mess.
Yes, that's very helpful as well.
I have another question for you.
Sure.
What about AI? Have you ever put your speech into ChatGPT? You could tell us, Taylor. Come on.
Hey, when that writer's block hit, with my final speech, I'm not gonna lie, it was tempting, and some of my friends encouraged me to just try it out. I'm like a caveman. I have never used GPT. I am so far behind. AI intimidates me. I've never used it for anything, personally, awesome. Professionally. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to start now with my final speech. But it can be a useful tool for sure. But I also wondered, in this day and age, are people going to just have AI write their speeches for them?
Yeah.
Right.
But I think the art of storytelling is so personal.
Yes.
I think it would be fine for AI to give you some ideas and you kind of pick and choose from there. But I think you'd be able to identify someone's speech if it was just AI generated, because there's the personal element isn't there anymore. And so to answer your question, no, I did not consult ChatGPT this time. not to say that I never would, but that one was all me.
I'm back in school, being 35, back in school, it's
35.
Excuse me, I have the floor. All right. So being 35.
Is somebody's Wi-Fi not working? I don't
Excuse me. I have the mic. Okay. All right. Like I said, being 35, back in school, I do use ChatGPT.
So you could even get it out.
I don't think any of my teachers are on here, but I know we're close to time, so I'll yield my time back over to out there.
Teachers use it too, you know that.
Actually, I do have one more question for you, Taylor, before we let you go. So I was there at the spring conference and saw your winning speech at the district level. I didn't get a chance to see you during the convention. Did you do the cartwheel?
I did.
I did
do the cartwheel, and that might have put me over the top. I'm not sure, but I got a lot of good feedback from people. I can't believe he did it. We had a rehearsal, and the Toastmasters International staff were there, and they made a joke about, like, while we were doing rehearsal, like, no one's doing a backflip, right? Like, we would need you to sign a waiver. And I was like, what? I'm doing a cartwheel? And she was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. She goes, and she was like, went and got a waiver. I had to sign a waiver in case I broke my ankle on their stage that I couldn't sue Toastmasters International. I said, yes, I'm not going to sign that. I said, I'm no gymnast. It's definitely not a perfect cartwheel, but I'm not afraid of signing that waiver. So yeah, I did do the cartwheel. Got a lot of good feedback afterwards, and so yeah, I had to practice it the night before. I kind of snuck into one of the rooms to just do some rehearsal on my own. And I did a couple practice cartwheels just to make sure I could land it, because it had been a while since Lexington. I think it was the last time I had actually done the full cartwheel. So, but yeah, it went over well.
That's awesome. All right, Johnny, over to you to close us out, my friend.
I don't have anything. I think Taylor has said everything. Again, good sir, congratulations on a remarkable journey. I will say one thing. I was in the contest against Taylor at the district, and somebody texted me when it was done. They said you lost out to a cartwheel.
Was it only the cartwheel?
I mean, can we get a video of the cartwheel?
It should be out on District 40 here pretty soon. His district contest should be posted here pretty soon. So,
and I think the semifinals and finals will be posted, but they said it might take a few weeks, I think. But whenever that's posted, I can try to send it your way if you guys want.
Yep. Of course. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, Taylor, man, I want you to get out of here, go get some rest. And again, thank you for joining the official District 40 podcast. We appreciate your wisdom, your insight, and you just taking time out of your busy and hectic schedule.
You are very welcome. It's a pleasure speak with all four of you, and keep up the good work. And thanks again for the opportunity.
All right.
Have a night.
Night.
All right. See ya.
All right.
My
Wow,
goodness.
that was great, guys. I'll turn it over to you, Althea. This is your thing.
It is. So that is all for us this evening. District 40, we heard from Renee Mitchell, our program quality director. We heard from our district champion. I don't care what International has to say, but he's our district champion.
There you go.
Taylor Candella. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. And be sure to come back and see us. We go live now on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the fourth Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Please come back and join us. And with that, we bid you farewell until next time. Good evening, District 40. Bye-bye.